Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel and your channel. Getting used to this new headset. Mike Shriver Ministries right here on YouTube. Today, we're going to start off with Operation Epic Fury, day number 20. There, I fixed the echoes. I don't feel like I'm delayed, so my speech slows down. Okay, let's hit it. Punch it, Chewy. Here's number one, and we're going to start out with, and indeed, I intend on playing it again later. Everybody's favorite senator. I know Angela Child of God loves him. I love him. Brother Ken loves him. Everybody loves him because he's a common sense senator. Perfect for the Trump administration for the second time, which really should be the third time, but here we are. God knows. So here we go. Fox News video number 8 in my lineup just became video number 1. Punch it, Chewy. Rawr.
Continue to hunt and kill afloat assets, including more than 120 vessels and 44 mine layers, and the pressure will continue.
So that pressure now includes the deployment of the USS Tripoli and Marine Expeditionary Unit, the self-contained sustained unit stationed in Japan right now. It's
from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli.
Few days away still, but it includes
Beautiful
over
boat.
5,000 Marines and
I had
sailors
family
of our
that
armed forces.
served in the
It is
Pacific
equipped
Theater
for
in
special
the day.
operations across land,
I never got to
sea,
go into the military
and air.
because of
This is
asthma,
a
simply because of asthma.
capability unit. As I said, it's coming within days to the region, and it will give President Trump some new options to pressure Tehran, but how they can aid potentially in the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz
Well,
is
half
also
carrier helps.
on the table. As
Got options
this
there, at least
vessel
in the
steams
air, and it
forward
carries Marines.
towards the Persian Gulf. Joining me now, retired four-star General Joseph Votel, former U.S. CENTCOM commander, almost 4 decades of military experience. He is National Security Distinguished Fellow, Senior Fellow at the Middle East Institute. Good to have you with us. Great to see you, General, as always. So this morning, the Wall Street Journal wrote a piece about this this unit arriving soon, and it is an incredibly impressive.
Well, I thought the USS Boxer was already deployed. Sorry, I'm still waking up.
MEU, and they refer to this unit.
And the Boxer is a
they
half
could
carrier.
Seize one or more of the islands off the southern coast of Iran.
I was thinking the same thing the other day. Get those little islands
to counter Iranian attacks on commercial shipping. And we have a map that shows some of these small islands that this unit could potentially occupy in order to change the game in the Strait of Hormuz. You've got Qasem Island, Hormuz Island, Karg Island, as shown here on the map. What do you think about all of that? And do you think that's the likely reason for this mission, General?
Yeah, thanks, Martha. It's good to be with you. You know, the reason
get off my computer.
commanders like Admiral Cooper and myself in the past love to have Marine Expeditionary Units in our areas of responsibilities because they provide so much flexibility, they provide so much agility for us, and they come with so many capabilities. So the movement of this element in here, I think, is
good morning, Heidi. How you doing today?
A lot of tools.
Good to have you here on Mike Shriver Ministries.
To deal with this,
Heidi, how you doing, girl? That's you. I see the picture. I haven't seen you in months and months and months. I hope everything's going well with your new man. It's good to see you, though.
Take one of these islands,
hope the kids are well.
Hold it at risk to the Iranians. Of course, there's a lot that goes into that. You'd have to consider the risk factors. All these islands are very, very close to.
I want to say, Heidi helped me start this channel. She was one of my first members, subscribers, whatever. They're all friends to me. And Heidi, I'm happy to report the channel of probably a day or two ago, because the numbers are about 2 days behind. So I won't see the numbers for 2 days ago until like today, later. We have over 2 million views. Last night it said 1.993 million. And of course, I started covering the war. That helped. But many people are finding my channel and hearing the X238 truth as well. So I thank God for that. But 2 million views in just 440 days. I think it's 440. Anyway, good to see you again. I hope everything's going well with your man. Excellent. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. All right, let's get back to the video. I love studying war as a child and as a man. I don't like it when people die, but such is the nature.
Iran, and of course, are very vulnerable to any
Only 13 though so far,
capabilities that
so
Iran
that's
might try
that could be
to
way
try
worse.
to employ against them. And of course, we have to sustain them if
Thank
we're
God
going
it's
to
not.
put them ashore. But they can do a lot, and they're very, very unique capabilities, as you point out.
So when you say they could do a lot, and you say obviously it
yeah,
sounds
it's
like
a
you expressed
half-size
some
carrier.
concern because if they
Nimitz
occupy
class,
an
I think.
island and take it over in that area, they also would be making themselves vulnerable to Iranian attack, correct?
Yeah, I think that certainly would be a risk factor that any commander would look at with that, and you have to think about the value of actually taking over one of those.
Let's not forget Revelation chapter 6, verse 6, when one of the four horsemen, well, two of them, let's talk about two of them really quick. We'll get right back to the news. The grizzled and bay horse, or the fourth horse of the four horsemen, we have proven that it is absolutely Islam. And I have a Bible study on that where we talked about it a couple months ago. And that's definitely going to be discussed again. It is definitely Islam. And Kathy Hochul, the governoress of New York, she shined that very color. It's a greenish color because it has two definitions in the Greek. One of them, a greenish color. And the other one, I can't remember exactly what it means offhand, but I got the notes. And so without a question, at least to me, Islam is the green horse, or the fourth horse, the grizzled and bay. The black horse, I believe, is capitalism. I don't think it's death. And I get it. Death comes with all that, because the fourth horse, it says death and hell followed after it. But I think the fourth horse is capitalism. And I'm a capitalist in a capitalist country. In fact, the best capitalist country on the planet, the United States. Not that we're better than anybody in God's eyes, because we're all God's children if we're born again. John chapter 3, Acts 2:38. But God blessed this nation, conceived under and dedicated the proposition that all men are created equal. I do believe that's what Lincoln had quoted. And here we are, in a great war again, testing our nation.
A particular
as part of the book of Revelation. It's with the wars and rumors of wars spoken of by Jesus in Matthew 24, at minimum.
So serious, we're putting the Marines on the ground. This could help control some of the approaches into the Straits of Hormuz. So there certainly could be tactical and operational advantages to it, but
if they blow the Dome of the Rock up, then they're going to build Solomon's third temple, which they will.
The risks associated with having,
I mean, they may not blow it up in this war,
sustain them and take care of them,
but something's going to happen to it, because you have to have
helicopters. There's all kinds of capability.
Because the abomination of desolation spoken by the prophet Daniel has to happen, where the Antichrist stands up in a rebuilt Jewish temple, claiming to be God. He stops the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, or he causes to cease. What is the sacrifice and oblation? That means the Jews are fixing to start animal sacrifices again when the third temple is rebuilt, which can be done with modern technology anywhere between 11 and 14 months. So anywhere between like just under a year to just over a year. And they will cause the animal sacrifices. Oh my goodness, if Rush Limbaugh was still alive and he didn't get raptured, if indeed the rapture happens at the beginning of the tribulation, he would be having a fit about animal sacrifices, right? The environmentalist wackos would be coming out of the closet, and I'm not saying Rush was a wacko. What I'm trying to say is Rush would be like, oh boy, here comes the liberals freaking out. And I don't want animals to be killed. Jesus was supposed to be the final sacrifice. Apparently, the Jews didn't get that memo. No offense, Jewish people. You will call on Jesus when the Battle of Armageddon happens and the Antichrist has you back to the Mediterranean and it looks like you're finally going to be obliterated. And then you'll call on Messiah, Jesus, and he shows up and bails you out with the raptured church. Okay. All right. Here we go.
That come with this ME unit that is coming in. Would you? And we also heard from General Keane earlier today that now there are missions being done deeper.
It hasn't even started yet. What do you mean the 1,000 years of peace has started? Are you kidding me?
Capability
there hasn't been peace yet.
That as well.
Read your Bible, Norman. No,
Sure,
Normal.
those,
No
those
offense. I'm not
aircraft
trying to
could be
insult you.
worked into the
But
air
you need
tasking
to
orders.
double check
can
that.
contribute to that and
I'll be
certainly
back.
help with those types of operations. The key piece about this capability is it comes, as you point out, self-contained. It has everything that it needs. It has a platform. It has infantrymen, marine infantrymen. It has its air capabilities. It has its own logistics. So it's a self-contained organization that can do a lot for us and gives the commander just an incredible amount of flexibility.
So, obviously there's going to be questions about whether or not this is an expansion of our presence there, whether or not taking an island would represent boots on the ground, that the president said he does not want to be part of this. Let's play a quick exchange at the White House today. Watch this.
Do you intend to potentially put U.S. troops or more troops in the region?
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you, but I'm not putting troops.
What's your response to hearing that, given the movement of this unit?
Yeah, I think again, I don't think we need to reveal all of our plans as we move forward. Having spent a lot of time at CENTCOM, I've never seen an op plan for that area that did not include a Marine Expeditionary Unit. So I'm not surprised by this. This has probably been part of the plan all along to float this organization in there and give the commander some flexibility. So, decisions about putting troops on the ground are important ones, and there are risk factors, and they're very careful at the deliberations about that. And I think what the president is indicating is that there will be a deliberate discussion within the appropriate channels to do that. But certainly trying to reveal what we're going to do in advance doesn't help us. It only helps our adversary.
Well, as the president said, we have the best military in the world, and we've watched its capability in extraordinary ways, and we're about to see this unit come into view here as well. I want to play very quickly, because this was sort of an interesting moment, speaking about not telegraphing what you're going to do down the road. Watch this.
Why didn't you tell US
Yeah, this is good.
In Europe and Asia, like Japan?
Listen to this. Listen to this.
You don't want to signal too much. When we go in, we went in very hard. And we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Hey, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
Go get him, Trump.
That was quite a moment. It made me laugh out loud. We didn't think we'd
That's
ever be laughing
fantastic.
about anything related to Pearl Harbor. But what did you think of that, General?
He got him.
The president has a very unique way of communicating. So that's all I can say, I think.
Yeah.
Well, communication is navigation. Navigation leads to destination. So why would you communicate that you want to go to war against a country? What are we supposed to give them, a 20-day head start on the war? I mean, oh yeah, we're going to attack in 20 days, Iran. So go ahead and hide your missiles and hide all your weapons. And but I'm going to give you a 20-day head start because, reasons. All right, next video. Bring it up on the screen. All right, here we go. I got to step away for a minute because I'm still shaking the cobwebs and waking up. Here we go, because I got to be at the mechanic at 10 o'clock. If my brother can give me a ride up there, or not ride up there, but give me a ride home from it so they can fix my car. Punch it, Chewie. Rawr.
We are watching the White House right now. President Trump is about to meet with Japan's prime minister. This is a critical moment. The president demanding U.S. allies contribute more as we, along with Israel, knock down a nuclear-thirsty enemy in Iran and protect key oil shipping lanes.
Good morning, brother Ken, in the house. How are you doing?
From Japan and other allies signaling they are ready to help secure the shipping now through the Strait of Hormuz.
Normal. I wish I could see the scriptures you're looking at. I know where the 1,000 years peace is. I know where the abomination is of desolation. I know all that. We're up in the temple.
At the White House.
Unless you're Jehovah's Witness, you don't believe the 1,000 years has happened yet. No Christian denomination, or even if you want to call yourself non-denomination.
Terror regime. New video now from Central Command shows
believe there's
precision
non-denomination.
strikes
You got
targeting the regime's
denomination
military
because you have a
network.
theology.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth.
Okay, hold on. I'll be right back.
Chairman Dan Kane.
Brother Ken,
with a
appreciate
new
you, buddy.
on
Good to see
Operation
you.
Fury.
I'll be right back.
Our objectives, unchanged, on target, and on plan. Destroy missiles, launchers, and Iran's defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild.
Stick around.
Destroy their navy, and Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Today will be the largest strike package yet, just like yesterday was. As I've said from day one, our capabilities continue to build, Iran's continue to degrade.
We continue to hunt and kill mine storage facilities and naval ammunition depots. We continue to hunt and kill afloat assets, including more than 120 vessels and 44 mine layers, and the pressure will continue.
Overnight, Iran launched strikes on energy sites in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Kuwait. And they went after Israel. And those hits followed Israel striking a gas field that Iran shares with Qatar. President Trump, with this warning to Iran, he says the U.S. will, quote, massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that it will have on the future of Iran. But if Qatar's LNG is again attacked, I will not hesitate to do so. Vice Admiral Robert Harwood coming up with me in Focus. Let's begin with Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. And Trey, some activity in the last few hours.
Yeah, Harris, good morning. More ballistic missile fire just targeted Israel a few minutes ago. Sirens were sounding from north to south across this country. And it comes amid a renewed focus on energy in the Middle East and those exchange of strikes yesterday targeting Gulf energy infrastructure. The video you see here is the South Pars gas field in Iran. That's smoke rising from the horizon in the aftermath of Israeli strikes. Immediately, the Iranians responded with an attack on the Ras Laffan facility in Qatar. This is the same gas field just on the other side of the Persian Gulf. And it was significant. It damaged, according to initial reports, 17% of Qatar's export capability and could take up to 5 years to repair. Now, a top official in Qatar from the Ministry of the Interior said in a statement overnight, quote, the civil defense has fully contained 2 out of 3 fires in the Ras Laffan industrial area with no injuries reported. Cooling and securing operations at the sites are ongoing, while the explosives group of the Internal Security Force is carrying out its tasks in handling any hazardous elements. President Trump overnight taking to Truth Social, speaking about those initial Israeli strikes against Iran, saying in part, quote, Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. Now, Israeli officials disputed that characterization, but it comes as Israel is taking new incoming ballistic missile fire. You can see here some of the interceptions overnight, those cluster munitions once again raining down on the population below. In the West Bank, 4 Palestinian women were killed by an Iranian ballistic missile. In central Israel, another foreign worker killed. All of this taking place as a top official in the Israeli military spokesperson's unit described the air defense quality today.
We have air defense systems. I can already say they are among the best in the world. This is proven. Unfortunately, the defense is not airtight. We use our systems to intercept these missiles. These cluster missiles are a war crime if this terrorist regime targets them at population centers. There is no difference from a regular missile except for its dispersion.
Earlier this week, shrapnel from an Iranian ballistic missile landed just feet away from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. A police source telling Fox News overnight that all of the holy sites in Jerusalem will remain closed for the time being. Harris?
Well, and we've already seen, I was watching one of your reports earlier, Trey, some of those sites already have some damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Large pieces of shrapnel raining down on the old city of Jerusalem. And this speaks to what the Iranians are targeting. They're not just going after Israeli military infrastructure. They're targeting civilians. They're targeting worshippers. And overnight, they killed 4 Palestinians. One rocket that was fired overnight from the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah landed in Gaza.
Yeah.
Harris?
What you say is so important, too, because in Jerusalem, when you go to pray at the wall, you have a mixture of religions there, including Muslims. I mean, it's amazing that they would strike any part of, old Jerusalem, any of that. Trey Yingst, always great reporting from you. Thank you very much. In Focus now, retired Vice Admiral Robert Harwood, a former deputy commander at CENTCOM, and he served on George W. Bush's National Security Council and as a U.S. Navy SEAL in Iraq and Afghanistan. And sir, we welcome you to the program. Look, the energy infrastructure that is being hit both by Israel and Iran and that back and forth now, that's something that President Trump doesn't want to do. He wants to leave the country as whole as possible for a healthy economy. Can he avoid the kind of decision that puts us in that part of the hitting?
Well, I hope so, but time will tell, and that's the issue here. We're dealing with time parameters now. How long can this go on and keep evolved? And people have questioned why we went into this war. Look at what's happening now. And this has all occurred at a time when we could challenge Iran. Imagine this scenario when there were not U.S. forces in the region, when we were not able to bring this amount of force against Iran and the patrol at this point, moving Gulf, eradicating these missile threats. But ultimately, this is the end state that has to be achieved, where Iran cannot pursue this destruction throughout the region and to our forces as well.
Vice Admiral, I'm curious. You know, I just read a statement, and they've kind of gone back and forth on this, too. First countries, particularly in NATO and Japan, saying, yeah, we're not going to jump in and help with that effort at all, and because it puts their military involved. Is that why? And what do their militaries really look like if they can't help us in that effort, which really benefits them when it comes to oil?
Well, at the end of the day, it will be political will. And I think that's what will drive it. Their militaries are very capable. They've partnered with us in Afghanistan and other operations around the world. And when we do that, it enhances everyone's capacity and capability. But right now, it's that political will of not wanting to join the conflict. So I think ultimately, as we see this thing play out, and dependent on time, that political will change. Because it will affect their people, will affect their economies, and they'll need...
Just moments from now, European allies, along with Japan, released that joint statement I just spoke of on the Strait of Hormuz. Let's get into it, and I can read part of it now. Quote, we condemn in the strongest terms recent attacks by Iran on commercial vessels in the Gulf, attacks on civilian infrastructure, including oil and gas installations, and the de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz by Iranian forces. We will take steps to stabilize energy markets, including working with certain producing nations to increase output. We will also work to provide support for the most affected nations, including through the United Nations and international financial institutions. Japan's prime minister said she expects today's meeting to be, quote unquote, very difficult. Yesterday, President Trump posted this: because of the fact that we have had such military success, we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. Likewise, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. What is the president boldly saying there that he wants to make very clear?
I think his commitment, and that's probably the most important element of this. He's committed to seeing these through. If the allies are not willing to join, we're going to do it. We're going to move forward. And I think that commitment at the end of the day will be confirmation to these other countries of their political will. And ultimately, as they're effective, I think that will play out. So again, I think the president is committed to seeing this through so that this cannot happen again. And that's the end state that's needed.
You know, Joint Chiefs Chairman, along with the the Department of War Secretary Pete Hegseth this morning gave their 8 a.m. Eastern briefing. And one of the things that stood out to me was that Dan Kane, Chairman Kane, said that, you know, they went in and moved against Iran, and they came back with a lot of weaponry. Why, from what we're seeing, why didn't we know more, or did we know more about what they had?
Well, we've been tracking Iran for decades, and I think the element that surprised everyone is the drone component. We've always tracked the missiles, we've tracked the launchers, we've tracked the mines, but this, as we're seeing the evolution in drone warfare now, as cheap, how mass-produced, how swarming, how many you can launch, that's what's difficult in this case to deal with. And that's what I think we were unaware of, or at least didn't have complete intelligence of the scale of it. And that's hard to do because they're cheap to build, they're affordable. But as we've seen this evolution in drone warfare over the last 3 decades, this is that latest evolution. the scale and the production being cost effective adds a whole new quiver to your inventory. And as we're seeing here in the US, we develop those capabilities, those same technologies using artificial intelligence comes a real deterrent, if not a military capability.
Yes.
So you're watching that evolution occur before your very eyes. And I think that's the part we didn't have complete intelligence in.
Well, and the other thing, too, is we've seen with those areas around the Strait of Hormuz, if there's anything underground, we can get to those with busting bombs as well. And so if their idea is to do some of that surreptitiously underground, which sometimes we'll see that with the hiding of uranium and whatnot, if they're doing that drone building, we'll get to that, too. Vice Admiral, thank you for your time and expertise always. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
Meanwhile, Iran is ramping up its attacks on several Gulf nations by widening its strikes against energy facilities. So this comes after Israel struck a major gas field in Iran as the conflict in the Middle East perhaps enters a new phase. So Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv. Some controversy about this, Trey.
Yeah, Dana, good morning. Absolutely. As Operation Epic Fury is now well into week 3, there is a renewed focus on the targeting of energy infrastructure in the region. We have some video of the South Pars gas field yesterday that was hit with Israeli strikes. This is a field that connects also to a Qatari field in the Strait of Hormuz, and you can see this smoke rising from the horizon there in southern Iran. In response, the Iranians targeted the Ras Laffan gas field in Qatar. This is the world's largest producer of liquefied natural gas, a significant escalation, and drew condemnation from a variety of Gulf countries. The Qataris just about 11 hours ago released a statement saying the civil defense has fully contained 2 out of 3 fires in the Ras Laffan industrial area with no injuries reported. Cooling and securing operations at the sites are ongoing, while the explosives group of the Internal Security Force is carrying out its tasks in handling any hazardous elements. Now, President Trump overnight took to Truth Social, speaking directly about the Israeli strikes that drew this retaliation. He said in part, quote, Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. Now, Israeli officials are pushing back against that characterization. But earlier today, the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, spoke about the U.S. efforts to try and reduce the pressure on global energy markets.
The Iranians had been pushing out, that would have all gone to China. In essence, we will be using the Iranian barrels against the Iranians to keep the price down, for the next 10 or 14 days as we continue this campaign. So we have lots of levers. We've got plenty more that we can do. The largest coordinated SPR release in history, 400 million barrels, was approved last week. And some countries are going to do more.
The focus on the Gulf comes as the Iranians continue to launch new ballistic missile attacks against Israel. Since midnight, there have been 8 separate ballistic missile barrages toward this country. In the West Bank, 4 Palestinian women were killed at a salon. They were there amid this incoming fire. At a different location in central Israel, 1 foreign worker was killed, and these cluster munitions are still wreaking havoc on the population below. A top spokesperson for the Israeli military saying this about the defensive capabilities.
We have air defense systems. I can already say they are among the best in the world. This is proven. Unfortunately, the defense is not airtight. We use our systems to intercept these missiles. These cluster missiles are a war crime if this terrorist regime targets them at population centers. There is no difference from a regular missile except for its dispersion.
Earlier this week, shrapnel from an Iranian ballistic missile landed just feet from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Israeli police tell Fox News all of the holy sites in Jerusalem will remain closed for the time being. Bill, Dana?
Trey, thank you. We'll be back in touch, no doubt.
So Rebecca Heinrichs now hosts an incident. Rebecca, welcome back here. Saturday will be 3 weeks. Where are we today, Rebecca?
Well, I think that Secretary Hegseth was actually right. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that we are winning decisively militarily. And you can see us, again, moving into the second phase of the war, where we're going now after infrastructure so that the Iranians can't rebuild. But the other thing we're now seeing is this other line of effort where you saw Secretary Bessent talking about stabilizing energy markets. So although the United States is defeating the Iranians with the Israelis, defeating the Iranians militarily, we now have to convince the Iranians that they have lost. And that means there's going to be a battle over who controls oil markets, and can the Iranians continue to hold the global energy markets at risk? And that's why you're going to see this other line of effort, getting allies on side to help the United States quickly, as soon as possible, open the strait.
I want to show you here this map of the South Pars area. Okay, so this is the what Trey was just talking about. And then there was an additional piece to President Trump's Truth Social that I want to read to you. He said no more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case Qatar, in which instance the U.S. will, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field. I wanted to get your take on that overall, but also, is this one of those situations that could potentially drive some daylight in between the United States and Israel?
So to answer the second question, because it's really important, no, I don't think so. I think that the United States is working very hand in glove with the Israelis about targeting. And so I suspect this is one of those instances in which the United States knew the Israelis would do this, actually, but we were not participating in it. It was a limited strike, and it's meant to do what I said in the last time I just spoke, which is it's military coercion over energy markets. So the United States and Israel is saying, we don't want to destroy your ability to produce oil and gas. And this particular field, Dana, is really important because it provides 70 to 80% of energy to the Iranian people. And our war is not with the Iranian people. But we want to say to the regime, we have the ability to do this. We don't want to do it. But by the way, the Iranians have been attacking oil and gas infrastructure against the Saudis, the Qataris, the Emiratis. And so this is not the first time, but it is the Israelis responding, saying, look, we can do this too. You don't want to play this game.
Rebecca, give us a bit of a forecast here. It's my sense that we, work in this story, yourself, viewers at home, they wake up every day and say, what's happening today and where's it going tomorrow? How do you best address tomorrow?
So I think that first of all, to keep in perspective, we're only in 3 weeks into this war. I mean, wars it would still, if it was a year-long war, that would still be a very short war in terms of the length and duration that these things can go. I don't think it's going to be that. I still believe that it's going to be short. But we want to make sure that we win the peace on terms that are good for the American people. We are already dramatically safer than we were 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, before this war started. But we really do need to get our allies on side. President Trump has used a lot of vinegar in diplomacy with our allies. We got to use some honey now because we do need them. It'd be great to have a coalition to help us open that strait. And by the way, Eastern Europe, the Baltic countries, small countries, they're the kings when it comes to minesweeping. They've got more capabilities than we do. So we need to get some allies on side to get this thing done. But I do believe the Iranians are on their back foot, and we're going to be in a better place, I think, in the coming months.
All right, Rebecca, thank you. Love having you on the show.
Good stuff. Thanks, Rebecca.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.
Pop this up on your screen. Israeli officials saying the electricity grid in the north has now been damaged as video that's circulating on social media is showing a fire near a refinery in Haifa. Now, Barak Ravid, you're looking at his post here. He is with Axios and says, breaking, Iranian missile has hit an oil refinery in Haifa. Again, at this point, we don't have a lot of information, but we do continue to follow all of that, and we'll keep you updated as we get additional details. Also want to take you out to this video right here as Israel's military releasing footage after striking Iranian targets in the Caspian Sea for the first time ever. Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani, the spokesman for the Israel Defense Forces, saying a short time ago the strikes hit dozens of targets there. He says that includes Iranian naval vessels, including missile ships, support vessels, and guard ships. a port command center where Iranian Navy forces controlled naval operations and central infrastructure used for vessel repair and maintenance. Again, this is video there provided by the IDF, and it shows the explosions as those strikes were underway. Right now, I want to take you out to this live look that we do have over the Capitol here, as Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says that anyone who replaces a top military leader in Iran won't be in the role for very long. During an update to reporters earlier today, Hegseth explained, quote, "The last job anyone in the world wants right now, senior leader for the IRGC."
We're hunting and striking death and destruction from above. Iran's air defenses flattened. Iran's defense industrial base, the factories, the production lines that feed their missile and drone programs, being overwhelmingly destroyed. We've hit hundreds of their defense industrial bases directly. Their ability to manufacture new ballistic missiles has probably taken the hardest hit of all. Ballistic missile attacks against our forces down 90% since the start of the conflict. Same with one-way attack UAVs. Think kamikaze drones, down 90%. Now, the Iranians will still shoot, we know that, but they would shoot a lot more if they could, but they can't. The last job anyone in the world wants right now? Senior leader for the IRGC, or Besiege. Temp jobs, all of them.
Again, that was Secretary of War Pete Hegseth a bit earlier on today. It was brought that to you in full. Now, General Dan Raisen-Kane, the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, revealed that American forces have struck more than 90 targets on Card Island, which is vital to Iran's oil network. General Kane explaining the U.S. targets included all of the island's military-only infrastructure, like air defenses, a naval base, and mine storage facilities. He added that U.S. forces are attacking deeper into Iranian territory, dropping those 5,000-pound bunker buster bombs we've talked about into underground weapon storage facilities. Now, the U.S. also using Warthog attack planes to hunt Iranian boats in the Strait of Hormuz and Apache helicopters to strike Iranian drones. Now, as always, there is a lot to discuss here, so I do want to bring in Jonathan Saye. He is, of course, with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies and always joins us to break down the latest. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, Josh. It's great to be with you again.
And first off, I want to start by asking you a little bit about the fact that in Haifa, we have learned that this Iranian missile, maybe several, have apparently hit this refinery or nearby. What do we know about that, and how significant is that?
It is quite significant, and this attack comes after reported strikes against Iran's energy infrastructure. And now we know for the longest time that attack in itself was a retaliatory measure, given that the Islamic Republic has been specifically focused on taking out different energy installations throughout the Persian Gulf. So that was really a response to that. In addition to that, Tehran has been again blocking the Strait of Hormuz. So this has been a measure, this has really been a new theater in the war, that the focus is also shifting, going beyond just military and repression, and there's an economic battle, targeting one another's economic infrastructure. And as for the implications as to what happened in Israel, it is quite significant. You know, this country has been dealing with war for years now. I think the populations of both Iranians and Israelis are increasingly getting at war fatigue. So we're really reaching a point where we need to move forward with a more decisive decision-making as to how we envision this war to carry on. What is the long-term strategy here?
And of course, there to the right-hand side of your screen, that is some of the video here coming in from the IDF. They're saying, of course, that they have struck the Caspian Sea, the Iranian vessels there. How
there's definitely a lot of lib trolls in here, but that's okay. I have the best moderators on YouTube. I firmly believe that. I trained some of them myself, and a lot of them just have a natural talent at it. And we do got the best mods, and we get rid of them as long as they're able to make it in, because you know they got more to their life than just my channel. But I appreciate them. We do have good mods. Myself, I moderated for Professor Nez for probably over 6 months, and learned a lot. I appreciate Professor Nez, I do. All right, back to it. Punch it, Chewy.
As a whole,
it really tells you that this this campaign has thoroughly, effectively decimated the Islamic
Crazy
Republic's
old
naval
soldier
force.
in the
But
house.
that said, when we
Guys,
raise
Crazy Old
alarms
Soldier
about
has
the
a Christian
regime's,
ministry channel as
boat
well.
capabilities, naval assets,
He's
we're
newer,
mostly talking about
but
the Persian Gulf
who
and the
knows?
Strait
He's
of
probably
Hormuz.
better than I
The
am.
Caspian Sea,
Let's get his link up
geographically,
here.
is really far from that area. It is still significant that they were able to take out some of these targets. Many were not really predicting Israeli strikes.
Yeah, go ahead and put your link up there,
The north, near the
COS.
Caucasus Mountains. But again, on a military level, it tells you that the
I'll
Iranian
put up here
skies
the
are open for
following
operations.
link.
But when it comes to destroying Iran's naval asset, the focus and the implications of major change would come from the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. But that said, the Caspian Sea front was still an area that they produced a lot of material. They repaired a lot of ships. So the implications are still there, but the focus is on the south over the north.
I want to talk a little bit about the U.S. side and Operation Epic Fury, because we heard from Pete
Go ahead
Hegseth,
and
the
slam
Secretary
your
of
link
War
up there, my
earlier
friend,
today.
and we'll
what you're
get you
looking
some
at on your
subs today.
screen is just some of the video coming in out of CENTCOM. But what do you make of Secretary Hegseth?
Yeah, that
saying
one
the
guy
US
was in here
is
saying
launching
that the
quote,
1,000 years
largest
peace
strike
began
package yet
when
as
Jesus
all of this
beat Satan
continues
on the
to
cross.
escalate. Each time
I don't
we
disagree
hear
with
almost
that. I
it's
think
getting
Satan did
more
beat.
and
In fact,
more
I know
intense.
that Jesus beat Satan
It has certainly
on the
been
cross,
one of the
but the
most
1,000 years
extensive
peace doesn't
campaigns.
start till
The
after
targets are as high as
the 7-year
8,000
tribulation is
so far,
over.
and the war
And
has
you're
gone on
welcome.
for over 2 weeks, on just under a month. It's quite
Okay,
extensive.
we're not a slave
But
to
I think
Israel,
what
and you're
really
not
stood
going to
out
talk
about
like that
what
in my
Pete
chat, so
Hegseth
get out of
said
here.
was
Get.
the phrase,
We don't
"death
want you
from
here."
above." It is similar to what we heard in Libya of leading from behind. Ultimately, the idea here is that the United States so far has not really
Samuel,
signaled,
hello, good morning.
using ground forces. There's been some messages, there's been some
I got to call my
unconfirmed
brother to see if he
reports of
can't drop
perhaps
me.
deploying Marines to
I want
Hawk
to drop my
Island.
car off
So
at the
far, we
mechanic
haven't
if he
seen
can't
that.
give me a ride
And
home.
what Hegseth really hinted at was the fact
Excuse
that
me.
the operations have really been from above and destroying the military capabilities. But for systemic change and for us to ensure that there's going to be a government in Tehran that is not going to pursue this Islamist ideology, the death from above is not always going to be applicable. It really comes down to ground
Oh, that's awesome,
operations.
COS.
And that's something Israel has been leading. Hyper-local strikes against specific squads and repression apparatus. So that is really, I think the next phase of the war would be decided based on how much this campaign is going to advance into Iranian streets.
By the way, quick reminder to my members. Tonight at 8 p.m., and I'm fighting a cold, but you know me, I don't quit. I never stop. Not typically. Tonight at 8 p.m., we have a members only, our first members only, 8 p.m. Eastern. So that would be 11 hours from this moment. Well, 10 hours and 51 minutes, but who's counting? Just so you know. If you want to become a member, that's wonderful. We got a couple membership packages. I just got my first $24.99 tier level 3 membership, where I send you a brand new book, at least brand new in wrapper or box, from Pentecostal Publishing House every month. So that $25 you donate to the channel, a good majority of that goes to buying that book for you, and shipping it to you. So it's not like we make anything much off of it. I just appreciate you guys are part of this channel, and let's continue.
And again, there are a lot of questions about what happens next here. We know that Iran has been launching missiles, not
and
just
I will
at
have a
Israel,
message later
alongside
this
Hezbollah,
afternoon
but
when I get
also
home
at
from the
several
mechanic. We're going to
other
bring the word of
countries
God.
there, the Gulf Arab countries. Now, President Trump has kind of explained that Qatar is kind of a red line. Can you explain for folks out there maybe why that is?
A thin red line?
Because Qatar hosts our CENTCOM, effectively. When it comes to a strategic importance of the country, Qatar has been crucial. But that said, Doha is far from a reliable ally. There's numerous geopolitical issues that Washington and Doha do not agree on, Muslim Brotherhood being one of them, supporting Hamas being crucial to that.
Welcome to my Tribe Ministries right here on YouTube.
We have to keep in mind, Qatar was instrumental in preventing an attack against the Islamic Republic.
We
so it's
are
not
now
like
over
even
2 million views. We picked up over 1 million views in the last 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks.
Collaborate on numerous fronts, money laundering, terror financing. There might be
to God be the glory.
But they're definitely far from rivals.
To God be the glory, and to my great moderator team, the Mike Shriver Ministries Mod Squad, the MSM, MS.
The Islamic Republic to go after the only Persian Gulf country that
You're
is
a godsend, bro.
remotely close to being a
I am
given
A Jesus
cooperation that I
skin.
just noted. It was
That means I'm
striking. And I
Republican.
think
That's
what's
Christian.
really
I'm a
notable
Jesus
is
skin.
to see
I
how
just made that
Qatar's
up. It's off
Al
the top of my
Jazeera
head.
language
We
media
speak
has
English,
shifted
bro.
its
Go ahead and
language
speak
about
English, and
Tehran.
I'd
They
love
were
to keep you
first
in here. I
more or
won't.
less
I won't
portraying
get
the
rid of
Islamic
you.
Republic as the
I'll
victim.
just remove
But
your
once those
message.
attacks
Go ahead and
happened against
retype that
Qatar,
in
all of a
English,
sudden they're
please.
changing their rhetoric and really
Hey, I
labeling
appreciate
the
that,
regime for
right?
what it is.
I don't go
So
in there and
as to
start
what this
speaking
means
English
for
in
the regime in
Spanish-speaking
Tehran is very
channels.
clear. They thought by
Because
regionalizing
I
the
only know
war, they're going to
Klingon and
inflict more
English.
political cost and end it sooner. Whereas what we're seeing is that they're being portrayed as the aggressor in this context, and they are turning neutral states against them.
Are there any
Sorry about your horse dying,
or
Cortel.
questions that you might have as somebody who's
He's got a
following
dying
this
horse.
so
That's
closely?
sad. I
We
love
know
horses.
there are a lot of unknowns and a
I
lot
think
of
he was talking
questions.
about the
Anything that
Republicans
comes to
or the
your mind that
Fox
you hope
Network or-
maybe we will get the answer to at some point soon?
You're right to point out there are quite a few developments that we're tracking. I think what I'm particularly interested in is how this campaign aims to follow through with its promises of aiding the Iranian people. We have to remember on February 28th, the president clearly stated that he was the only U.S. president willing to provide help to the Iranian people.
And that's
at
true.
the end, he closed that and concluded that statement by saying, let's see how you react, addressing the Iranian people. So he is very well aware that ultimately comes down to the masses in Iran that are anti-regime to take to the streets. So
Do
the
they
question
want
is how
change?
they're facilitating that.
Then they'll
There's a division
help
of labor between
themselves to
Jerusalem
it
and
as
Washington.
we
It seems like
assist
Israel
it.
has been leading a lot of the repression apparatus front, taking out some of these besieged commanders. But I think the next phase for us would be interesting to see whether there's
Good
going to be
morning,
any
Cool
efforts
Arrow.
of arming the Iranian populace,
I think this
or
is
if the hyperlocal
wars
strikes
and
would go
rumors of
higher in
wars.
numbers. So far, the death
But
count
it
has
could
been maybe
be
about
the beginning
5,000.
of the tribulation.
Iran still
We
has
don't know for
500,000
sure.
armed personnel left. So defections
If they
is another
destroy
thing
the
I'm looking
Dome of
out
the
for.
Rock,
Israelis reaching out to these
absolutely.
commanders,
'Cause then they can
informing them
rebuild
that it is
the,
time for them to
Third
defect.
Solomon's
Because as we
Temple.
all know, it's a matter of time until Iranians take to the streets, and that moment is going to be pivotal, not for the region, but for the entire world.
And how important is it that we actually haven't seen Iran's new supreme leader? We have not seen him in person. We've seen what appeared to be an AI photo of sorts, as well as that
A
message
cardboard
that was read
cutout.
by somebody else with a photo over it. So how significant
Here, let me
is
do
that when you haven't seen the leader for folks there?
It is quite significant. Not to mention, we haven't even heard.
I got a copy
him.
of
We
his
haven't
meal
even
plan.
heard his
I
voice,
know that
let alone
much. I've
having
already
seen
started
him.
losing
So
weight. Watch
it
this.
has two major implications. One, it does demoralize the regime's support base because the Islamic
Where did
Republic's
it
supreme
go?
leader is more than just a manager that harmonizes different branches of the Islamic Republic. It is the leader of the Shia Islamist world. Millions look at him as a symbolism of the axis of resistance, of the fight against Israel, of the fight against the United States. So failure to really moralize and promote that sentiment is
I
going
might
to
have
risk
deleted it.
alienating a lot of Tehran's proxies, not only inside Iran, but across
There
the
he
region.
is.
So that's one. On the other hand, it does have the opposite effect, of course, on the ordinary Iranians. They see that one by one, a supreme leader is either taken out or is so severely wounded that it's a matter of time that they have to appoint another one and another one.
I get to you.
The idea that these officials are falling like dominoes certainly does not work in their favor from a PR perspective. People can see through the lies that this person hasn't been alive. But
I present to you all today here on Mike Shriver Ministries the man, the myth, the legend. Nope, not Rush Limbaugh, although he was wonderful. God rest his soul if he did indeed make it to heaven. This guy here, right here, you can see me moving him on the screen. Kind of looks like a target. Okay, so check this out. Now, I've been wanting to lose weight, right? I sat on God's Rainbow this morning and Skittles popped out. That's how much weight I've gained. So I saw this picture of the new Iranian Supreme Leader, Mr. Cardboard Cutout Man. And I said, can I get a copy of his meal plan? Because if I had a copy of Cardboard Man's meal plan, I could shed this excess weight I have. I'm 5'2"3/4, and I weigh 175 pounds. Before I had 2 hip replacements within 45 days of one another, because the infection, I only weighed like 145. But I also turned 51. I look like the Crypt Keeper, but I have a Jesus in my life that loves me and wants me to take care of myself. So I got a copy of Cardboard Man Cutout's meal plan, and I've already started losing vast amounts of weight. Thank you, Cardboard Cutout Man, who probably does no longer exist. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program. Punch it, Chewy.
The last thing I say on that is it does reinforce the sentiment that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, as the main ideological entity and the armed apparatus of the regime, is now calling the shots, and that's critical. So what we've seen so far is an alliance between the clergy and the IRGC, but it seems like mostly the IRGC is now dominating.
Did you like that one,
sphere.
Crazy Old Soldier?
All right, Jonathan, thank you so much.
I don't know if I
for
mentioned
taking
that
the time to
one
join us,
since
breaking
you've been
it
part of
down.
the channel.
So many different developments.
When
We'd be
that
here
day
for
that happened, I
hours if we
found
went
that
over
picture of him,
everything.
and he
Anything we
cracked
missed
up.
of
It's the
importance that
actual
you wanna
thing
make
they
sure
did.
we
That's
add here
real.
before I let you go.
I think we covered all the main themes. As
I think we did too, and I'm kind of bored.
From,
so let's
from
go on to the
different
next video.
perspectives.
The longer videos are nowhere near as I don't know. I just get bored after a while. Okay, punch it, Chewy.
Sage Fox went undercover at a vigil for the late Ayatollah Khomeini. This was in New York City. Watch this.
Amazing.
We're with Iran. We're with the resistance.
But isn't the resistance against the IRGC?
No.
Chris asked, are you sad Khomeini's dead?
I'm not sad. He's a brave martyr.
For that, do you support the Ayatollah?
No, I don't.
I mean, everybody has a
these
different
really
point of view
touch
on
neither.
things.
But
So,
why?
you
He's
know,
gone.
there's
Who
that.
cares who did it?
Well, I feel
He's
like
oppressing millions and millions of
Yes,
women
he
and Iranian
was.
women. Do you really care?
Yes,
I don't
now they
think
can get an
one person
education
is
if all of this
responsible.
works
That's not
out,
happening.
which in the end is up to the Iranian people.
You think you're gonna get arrested? This is the symptom of a bigger problem we have in America.
Oh, dear God.
Okay, he's a TikTok
Wow,
star.
I don't
His
know. Was
name
he
is,
trans?
Zach Sage
I don't
Fox,
know.
and he's with me here in
He
New
sounded
York
like
on the
it.
set.
We all
You
need
and your
Jesus,
team were
folks. We all
assaulted.
need Jesus.
Multiple times. By the way, check out the full video. That's just like one of 10 times we were assaulted. And what you don't
made
see
me
in that
wonder.
clip, the
Made me
police
wonder.
did nothing. And everyone was being assaulted that was there to protest against this radical Islamic terror.
I know, they're
The people who were
desperately
there
desperate,
to
Brother
protest
Ken,
against this
but it's
vigil
helping me
for
lose
Khomeini,
weight.
They were the ones who were
I
getting
got a copy of that
Some
meal
of them
plan.
were even arrested. The police did nothing. Check out the full video. That is what is beyond disturbing, and I think this is all Mamdani. You see, if you watch the full clip, you see me actually interview the police officers who are gating up, protecting them while kicking out
Mamdani's
anyone
got some issues,
who is
guys, and he
not
needs Christ too,
pro-Ayatollah,
but
not pro-radical Islam.
apparently he
It
didn't
was
get the
disturbing.
memo.
And eventually, once they were on to me, I was kicked out as well. And what you also don't see in that clip is they were cornering Washington Square Park. The people who were there setting up this visual, they were deciding who could and could not enter the park.
What?
Like,
That's
as if
not
they have the
freedom.
rights, as if this
That's
wasn't a
not
public
freedom.
space in New York.
I was surprised to see there was a vigil for Khomeini in New York
better
City.
charge my
Has he got
folks
many
if I have to
supporters
sit
in the
there
city?
for
Oh, there
4
were
hours
so
while
many
they do
people
my
there,
struts.
and none of them were Iranian, by the way. All of these are white liberal
BRB.
socialists who were all there. It's
Brother,
disturbing, and the people who were
Crazy
getting
Old
kicked
Soldier,
out
you have the
of
bridge
the
up
visual,
one.
who were being blocked
I'll
off,
be right back.
most of them were Iranian. Like, it was mostly Iranian New Yorkers coming to protest. I mean, it's so disturbing, and we know Mamdani supports the Ayatollah.
Well, look, Mandami, the mayor, he celebrated Ramadan with both an anti-Israel activist and he went to Rikers Island for the inmates there. Seems like he's done very little to make Jewish New Yorkers feel comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a big city. I have no problem with him celebrating Ramadan. What I do have a problem with is when we have an ISIS attack in New York, right? And he doesn't even mention the word ISIS. He doesn't mention the word radical Islam. That's where we're in a disturbing moment. You know, I have a lot of Muslim friends. A lot of them are Muslim Israeli. It's not a matter of getting rid of Muslims, of getting rid of Islam. It's a matter of getting the majority that are moderate to speak up against the minority that are not, that are radical. Because radical Islamism, let's say it's 10, 20% of the religion, that's a massive chunk when there's 2 billion, right? So the way I see it, it doesn't upset me when there's a peaceful gathering from. That doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is when you have protests like this and you have Mamdani specifically giving orders to protect the radical Islamists. That's where we're in a really bad crunch.
From my point of view, as I look at New York, I think that Mandami has put Islam center stage in New York City.
Oh, he has. And again, it's the double-edged sword, though. It's one thing to do that, right? It's another thing to do that while ignoring the radical Islamist attacks. Right. Jews, of course, feel unsafe. We're all much less safe in New York because of this schmuck. It just is what it is.
Careful, son. Zach Sage Fox, you're all right. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Good luck.
welcome back. Good Thursday morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
On to the newer, fresher video. Here we go. Punch it, Chewy.
Switching gears now, Democrats facing the very real possibility.
Yeah,
of an
New York is going through a lot right now, and I feel bad
as a new
for
poll finds two
true
Republican
Americans
candidates
there.
leading in California's
Sad.
gubernatorial primary. Our next guest is at the top of that poll, says there's a revolution brewing in California. California gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton joins me now. Steve, great to see you as always. You are our former colleague, so obviously we really like you. But how the heck are you, a conservative, leading the polls in such a liberal state like California?
Well, the answer to that question is a very simple four-letter word. It's called MAGA, and it stands not for Make America Great Again, like the president would say, but the guy who's obviously on the presidential campaign right now across the country, Gavin Newsom.
When they say booger, it's bugger.
MAGA stands for Most Useless Governor in America, and that's Gavin Newsom. Because California has the worst results of any state in America. We have
even
the
worse
highest
than
poverty
Gretchen
rate,
Whitmer
the highest
in Michigan,
unemployment rate,
I didn't think
the
that'd be
highest
possible,
cost of
but
living,
apparently
highest
so.
gas prices, highest cost for everything, insurance, housing, water, rent, you name it, car registration. Everything costs a fortune. You've got crime, you've got homelessness, the wildfire disaster. Everything's a
What
disaster.
about the railway
Say,
they
"We've
tried
had enough.
building and
We've
they
had
spent
enough of
like
this.
40
We need change in
or something like
California."
that,
and
it
I've
never
been
was
traveling the
completed.
state putting out a strong, positive alternative. $3 gas. Cut your electric bills in half.
Gas is
Your
$4.90
first
in Michigan.
$100
$4.90.
tax-free.
Everybody
No
that
more
can hear me
free
in the
healthcare
chat,
for illegal
how much is
immigrants.
gas
A
in
home
your
you can
city
afford to buy.
as of
I
this
capture
week?
it in one word: Californiable. That's my campaign.
Michigan.
And people are really getting behind it. And
Gas
it's great to see
is-
the energy and momentum that we've got.
But, Steve, it's not just you. It's not just one Republican candidate at the top of the ticket. There's two. And admittedly, you are beating Chad Bianco 17-16 in this latest
I know. Nick
poll,
Shirley
but
sure does.
Look at the two
He's got the
people
Californians
behind
having
you
a
two.
fit
Eric
up in here.
Swalwell there at 13%. Katie Porter also at 13%. How much are...
I have actually reached out to Nick Shirley's channel, and I'm waiting for a response. Hopefully, I'll get one so I could have us watch his channel, his videos of exposing fraud in these here United States, because it's his channel. I want permission. I could try doing it. I might get a copyright infringement thing, and I could fight it and all that. But I'd rather just get the consent. He worked hard for his videos. If he doesn't want to give them away, I don't blame him. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to get his consent though. Maybe we'll get it. I'd even invite him on my show.
Also a rejection.
Oh, also, I have talked to the producer of Max Afterburner USA. And that's his girlfriend, Sarah. She's wonderful. She's beautiful. She's intelligent. At least she looks smart. And we may have Max Afterburner live on Mike Shriver Ministries one night discussing the war and just things going on. Wow, that would blow my mind if he accepts. Hey, listen, I moderate for him. That would be great if he would just take 20 minutes and come on my show. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great, crazy old soldier? To have Max Afterburner USA, former F-15 Eagle fighter pilot, who's seen a lot of action in his career. He's just a great guy, I think. You know what I'm saying? But possibly Max Afterburner. I think I got a better chance at getting Nick Shirley. But either way is good. Even if Max would allow me to show some of his videos, but I got to have his consent. I'm not doing that to a man that worked hard. So, okay, here we go. Sorry.
Of all the candidates, named
yeah, man, if we can get Max on here, COS, oh my goodness. I would be
and there's
flattered.
another one. If you look at the Real Clear Politics average right now, I'm not sure it takes into account that latest poll, but the numbers are going to be pretty much the same. You've got Katie Porter on 10. You've got Chad Bianco and another one, Tom Steyer, the billionaire climate fanatic, on 11%.
Oh, an environmentalist wacko,
and I'm on 15.5. So whichever way you
Human
look at it,
life
the Democrats
is less important than a whale's life.
As the president might say, they're
Makes
not
no
sending
sense.
their best. These people are exactly the same kind of far left insanity and useless career politicians that we've had now, and everyone's fed up with it. Look at who you've got in charge in California: Karen Bass and Newsom.
Karen Largemouth Bass.
Does anyone think that Swalwell?
Yeah,
or
Max
Katie
is
Porter
fantastic.
Or Tom
Yeah,
Steyer
he's
is
awesome.
going to take us in a different
We'll see if
direction?
Sarah.
Of course not. And people really want a
I'm
new
sure she
direction.
talked to him
And
about
that's
it.
why I
And
think
we'll
despite,
see.
Of course, people look at California
in
and say,
Jesus'
well,
name,
it's so
if it be
hard
God's
for
will.
a Republican to win, a deep blue state, and all the rest of it. That may have been true in the past. But
$3
this
a
year,
gallon
it's
in
gonna change.
Oklahoma.
There's another really big thing everyone across the country should understand.
It's $4.90
We've
in
got
Michigan. It's
voter
probably over
ID
$4
on the
today,
ballot
but that's
in
okay.
November
It'll come back
in
down.
California. I know we're
And
all
I'm
talking
poor.
about the saybacks,
I don't have money.
but
Are
here
you
in
kidding me?
California, it's on the ballot in
But this
November.
war needed
That's
to
going to
happen.
mean a really big Republican turnout, and that's another reason why I'm very confident that in November I'll be elected the new Republican governor of California.
I mean, we're certainly watching for that. Obviously, Democrats are going to be under a lot of pressure to coalesce around one candidate to go against you, to go against Biacco heading into June. We will see if that happens because the egos involved are large on the Democratic side. And this could set up nicely for you, Steve Hilton, to become the next governor of California. We can say we knew you when. Steve Hilton, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
I'm Mike Schreiber.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling
And click here to
analysis.
get to our next video right here on Mike Schreiber Ministries. All right, punch it, Chewy. Rah, rah. Chewy. Chewy. You got to decloak the ship first. There you go.
Lewis is CEO of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy. So good to have you here. I would imagine, as what Jackie just alluded to, that the Japanese
Did it
Prime
really?
Minister is
That's
not
awesome.
going to come to the White House completely empty-handed. There might be things that she's not able to do, but she'll have something to put on the table.
Oops.
Yeah, Dan, I think that's right. I mean, look, the Japanese can do a lot. I mean, they have this Article 5 in their constitution that they can't engage in offensive military operations, but I don't think General Kane is asking the Japanese defense minister to provide Japanese fighter jets or Japanese Navy ships. I think what they can provide are minesweepers, they can provide intelligence, and they can really be part of this coalition.
Logic says $4 in Jacksonville.
We do not.
Wow. Is that Florida or Jacksonville?
It's really an economic threat, an existential threat to them, and they need to step up.
Can you tell me how you're thinking about how Japan and China are watching this and watching each other, as well as the United States?
Yeah, I mean, look, in Beijing,
Well, Japan
Xi Jinping is
gets
watching
most of their
whether this
oil from
coalition's gonna
Iran.
come
I can
together,
see why they
whether
don't
the
want to
United
get
States
involved.
can win
But,
epic fury
you know,
against
who rebuilt
China's
their
very
country?
close
I know
ally,
it was
the
80
Islamic
years
Republic of
ago, but
Iran,
nonetheless,
and
we've been
whether the
allies ever
Japanese in
since.
particular, who are going to be a linchpin of our efforts in the Indo-Pacific to defend the Indo-Pacific, to defend Taiwan, and really to defend Japanese security, are going to step up and support the United States. So any weakness on the part of Japan will be perceived in Beijing as an opportunity to take a strike at Taiwan and understand that we won't have allies to defend us either in the Middle East or in the Indo-Pacific.
At the worldwide threats hearing yesterday, there was a exchange between the CIA director and Senator Cotton about the dangers of Iran being able to go forward with their program. Watch.
I've heard some analysts say that Iran could have had a functioning intercontinental missile to threaten the United States in as few as 6 months.
If left unimpeded, yes, Senator, they would have the ability to range missiles to the continental U.S. It's one of the reasons why degrading Iran's missile production capabilities that is taking place right now in Operation Epic Fury is so important to our national security.
What I took away from that is if you have the CIA director and the chairman of the Senate Intel Committee both saying that they've heard this, and the CIA director confirming it, it means that they're trying to tell us something that they could probably expand on if we all had classified clearance.
Yeah, Dan, that's exactly right. Look, we've long warned at FDD that Iran has had an active intercontinental ballistic missile program. I mean, they've got a space launch vehicles that they're putting up into space. Those are not for weather satellites. They're not looking for better, meteorological analysis. What are they looking for? They're looking for a intercontinental ballistic missile that has a nuclear warhead that can threaten the United States and threaten the homeland. So largest missile inventory in the Middle East, but it's not just for attacking U.S. forces, U.S. embassies, and U.S. allies. That ultimately is for attacking the American people at home.
All right. Thank you so much for being on. It's a great guest for us to have this morning. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Dana. Thanks, Dana.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Perfect timing
for
on
all
that
the
one,
Fox
right?
News latest
All
on
right, let's
YouTube
hit
and catch
another
full
video.
shows streaming
I got to
now
leave in 20
on
minutes
Fox
because
One.
I got to go finally get the front of my cars fixed. I hit this giant mud hole yesterday, pothole, because, you know, we're in Michigan and our roads crack and they fall apart by spring. Even if you just paved them 2 years ago, they're done. And both my front end went boom, and then my back wheel came along, went boom. I thought they were going to go through the back of my car. And I'm getting my front struts. Video right here on my Shriver Ministries coming at you right now. Punch it, Chewy. Arr.
Let's get right to Lucas Tomlinson in Dubai with the latest on the war in Iran. Lucas.
Well, good early morning, Carly and Todd from Dubai. The Emirates has announced it's dismantled a Hezbollah and Iran-linked terrorist network here in the Emirates. That's coming overnight. There are over 500,000 Iranians that live here in the UAE, as the Pentagon announcing it's deployed A-10 and Apache helicopter gunships to destroy those little boats associated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Here's President Trump at the White House with a battle update brief.
We've obliterated their Navy. We've obliterated their just about everything there is to obliterate, including leadership. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft equipment is gone. We're flying wherever we want, Pete. We have nobody even shooting at us. Their leaders are gone.
Oh, it's bad.
They pick
new
leaders,
it's
they're
awful
gone.
Here in the
they
north.
pick new leaders, they're gone. And now they're looking for new leaders again.
Mr. Abdul.
After pressure from President Trump on
Welcome
European and
to my
Asian
Shriver
allies to
Ministries
do more
right
to
here
help open the
on
Strait of
YouTube.
Hormuz, Britain, France, Germany, Italy, the Dutch, Japan, whose prime minister visited the White House yesterday, and we can talk about that funny moment later, and Canada. Perhaps HMCS Montreal is available in a new joint statement calling on